You ever feel, I don't know, a little lost online? Kind of like you're in this giant, noisy town square where everybody's shouting but nobody's actually connecting? Yeah, well, if you felt that, you are definitely not alone. It seems like the era of those massive, one-size-fits-all social media platforms might just be winding down. See, a whole new wave of online communities is starting to pop up, and they are wildly specific. So let's dive into how they are completely changing the game.
I mean, just think about it. What if, instead of trying to be everything to every single person on the planet, a social network was designed for just one thing? For one specific group of people who share a single passion or a problem or a purpose.
This is a world where you don't just find your people, you actually build the clubhouse for them. And the ideas that people are bringing to life, they're brilliant. Sometimes they're downright bizarre, but they are always, always deeply human. For example, okay, get this. Imagine a secret society for the ghostwriters behind all those famous speeches and best-selling books. You know, the people who can never, ever take credit for their own incredible work. This is a place where they can share war stories, find new gigs, and do it all in complete anonymity. Pretty cool, right? Or how about this one? A network where you can literally trace the family tree of your sourdough starter. I'm serious. A visual map that shows how one single culture has been passed along and spread across the entire globe, from one baker to the next. And maybe the most fascinating of all, a community just for insomniacs that only comes alive in the dead of night. It's this quiet, supportive space that actually locks you out during the daytime. So how on earth are these incredibly niche, amazing communities even being created? Well, let's take a look at the tech that's making it all happen. The magic behind this whole creative explosion is a brand new kind of technology. We're talking about AI-powered platforms that make it possible for anyone, and I really do mean anyone, to build a fully functional social network from absolute scratch, often in less than a minute. And the process itself is just ridiculously simple. You just write down a description of the world you want to build, all in a single text prompt. The AI basically acts as your designer and your developer, and interprets your words to generate the layout, the rules, and all the unique features you need. Then you just hit launch, and boom, your network is live on the web. And the key here is just how specific you can get. This prompt, this isn't just some abstract idea. It's a real-world example. The AI gets it. It understands you need a map and you need to exchange queen bees, and it builds those exact tools right into the network. It might even toss in a honey yield tracker for good measure. All of a sudden, the possibilities are just endless. So this technology is unlocking this whole universe of niches, completely reinventing how we connect, both in our professional lives and for our deepest, geekiest passions. Okay, let's talk about work. Most professional networks are basically just highlight reels, right? It's all about success and wins and promotions. But what about the other 99% of work? The struggles, the failures, the really hard-earned lessons. Well, people are now building what you could call anti-LinkedIns to create a space for that reality. And a perfect example of this is the Failed Founders Club. To get in, you have to be a founder whose company has actually gone under. It's a space built on just brutal honesty, where members share these detailed postmortems of their failed business models. The whole focus is on learning from failure, not pretending it never happened. This revolution is also shaking up the arts in a huge way. So instead of the endless, anything-goes feeds that we're all used to, some of the most exciting new networks are actually built around really strict rules. And the core idea here is that limitations, they can actually spark way more creativity. This is just brilliantly illustrated by a photography network that's dedicated entirely to brutalist architecture. And here, the AI acts like a rootless bouncer at the door. If your photo is too colorful or if it has any plants in it, you're rejected. Only concrete is welcome. It's just such a powerful way to enforce a really specific aesthetic. Or, taking that idea even further, there's the blue room. This is an entire social world that's governed by one single, simple rule. You can only post things that are blue. And AI even checks the image's hex code to make sure you're following the rules. It's this fascinating artistic experiment in collective creativity. And some of these networks are even ditching visuals entirely. Can you imagine a social network with no pictures, no videos, no text? Well, on soundscapes only, users post 30-second audio clips of their environment. You can click on a world map and just listen to the sound of a Tokyo subway, or a Brazilian rainforest, or a little cafe in Paris. These networks can also just be temporary. So instead of a group chat that goes on forever, you can create a pop-up network for a specific event, like a wedding weekend.
It can have the guest list, the schedule, a place for everyone to share photos, and then 72 hours later, poof, it automatically deletes itself. No more digital clutter.
And that brings us right back to the 4 a.m. club. The killer feature here isn't what the app does, it's when it does it. By only working during those lonely hours between 2 and 6 a.m., it creates this unique little sanctuary. It guarantees that every single person online at that moment is awake, sharing that same struggle. It's a design choice that fosters this really profound sense of empathy.
So what's the big idea that connects all of these incredible examples? It's a philosophy that's being called descaling. The goal here isn't to build the next billion-user platform. No, instead, it's about building millions of tiny, perfect platforms. In this new world, success isn't measured in millions of users. The sweet spot, the absolute perfect size for a truly thriving micro-community, is somewhere between 50 and 5,000 people. Small isn't a bug here. It is the entire point.
And the benefits of thinking this way are just huge. First, you get higher relevance. When a community is hyper-focused, the signal-to-noise ratio is perfect. If you're there to talk about antique typewriters, every single post is interesting, and that keeps people naturally engaged. Second, you get way better moderation. It is so much easier to maintain a positive culture in a group of 500 passionate fans than in a chaotic city of 500 million. And finally, you get true ownership. The person who creates the network owns the space, the rules, and the data, not some massive corporation. So the fundamental shift is this. We're moving away from that idea of a single chaotic town square for all of humanity. And instead, we're building millions of small, focused, and vibrant clubhouses, each one designed for a specific purpose and for a specific tribe. This kind of technology puts the power to design our own digital societies into everybody's hands. And that really raises a fascinating final question for all of us. If you could create a social network for absolutely anything, what world would you build?